Good afternoon, friends, and we are back again with our Facebook live session. Today we have Dr. Shupriyo Ghatok, the GI oncosurgeon working with the Institute of Gastrosciences and Liver Transplant, Apollo Gleneagles Hospitals, Kolkata. Good afternoon, sir. And the topic today is what is gastric cancer and what are its causes. So, if you could just briefly touch on the topic that we would be discussing today.
As this is a gastric cancer awareness month, we'll be discussing gastric cancer. What we see that general people, what they think is that cancer is like one disease, but it is not actually. They, depending on the site, like stomach, colon, pancreas, or any other site, depending on the stage in which it is, and depending on the type also, what are the types of the tumor, depending on that also the prognosis, the outcome, the treatment options, everything changes. So one thing that I want to tell in the beginning is that cancer is not a single disease. It is there are multiple diseases in that category. It is a spectrum of diseases. Many things can lie in between in that spectrum. So we'll be talking on cancer stomach mainly, but I'd also like to talk on the tumors, other tumors of the stomach, which also sometimes require surgical therapy or other forms of therapy.
Right. So, sir, the first question that comes to our mind is what is stomach cancer? What is gastric cancer?
Normally, when we diagnose a case of carcinoma, adenocarcinoma, commonly we call it cancer. There are other tumors also that arise in the stomach that are not typical adenocarcinoma. There can be lymphoma, there can be other form of tumors like gastrointestinal stromal tumors. These are also tumors of the stomach. But if you say strictly cancer, then it is only adenocarcinoma of the stomach.
Right. So, what are the most common symptoms of stomach cancer?
Yes, we'll be talking on adenocarcinoma, so that is stomach cancer, but we will be also talking on other tumors as well. So the common symptoms of adenocarcinoma or cancer is like weight loss, loss of appetite, and sometimes there is pain in the upper abdomen. Sometimes there is vomiting with blood in it, black colored vomiting or black colored stool, and that can give rise to weakness, generalized malaise. All these things can be symptoms of stomach cancer. And there are other types of tumor which can give rise to more bleeding symptoms like blood in the vomiting or in the stool, or they can also give rise to swelling of glands in different parts of the body. So these are the symptoms, but warning symptoms to my mind is that if anyone is having loss of weight and loss of appetite, that is a very troubling warning symptom, and you should consult a doctor immediately.
The next question that most commonly comes to us is what are the common causes of gastric cancer?
It is very difficult to pinpoint as such causes like that, but there are some what can I say, risk factors which can give rise to gastric cancers, and most of the risk factors are actually common for all type of cancers like cigarette smoking or bidi smoking, khaini, all those things, tobacco products that can increase the risk of stomach cancer by few folds from general population. That is one important thing. Second is alcohol, and also it is seen that in obese patients there is a relatively higher chance, and there are some occupational hazards like in some specific industry where some specific chemicals are used, they can be prone to some sort of tumors, stomach cancers. And if I think the modifiable things are more important, which we can modify ourselves, and that is that's why the alcohol, smoking, and all these things are important. Diet is another important part, because we have seen that there is evidence that too much salt in the diet that predispose to stomach cancer. and also diet which is high in nitrate, that is too much pickled or cured type of dishes, that can give rise to stomach cancer.
So we have a live question over here, and the question is, how common is gastric ulcer to turn into gastric cancer?
Yeah, this is a very important question, that what is the significance or what is the importance of gastric ulcer in the pathophysiology of stomach cancer. You have to think two things. One, there is a common duodenal ulcer which is not at all pre-malignant for stomach or duodenal cancer development, but whenever we find a stomach ulcer, we are very suspicious of cancer, because there is a very high risk of stomach ulcer changing or presenting with cancer itself. Sometimes they can change into cancer, sometimes they are presenting with the ulcer. So whenever we are seeing a stomach ulcer, we take biopsies, and if it is, especially if it is non-healing after taking medications and all, we have to very strongly think of malignancy.
Is gastric cancer or stomach cancer curable?
Depending on the stage at which it is presenting, it can be curable, but if it is, unfortunate part is that most of the times we find them coming at an advanced stage, and there it may not be curative. But at the same time, you should remember that it is not only adenocarcinoma that presents like that. There can be other sort of tumor, and those are having much better outcome than typical adenocarcinoma. For example, if a gastrointestinal stromal tumor patient presents with bleeding and you treat it, they are almost like 100% survival rate. There is if you are treating it early, when they have not spread to other organs, they have a very good outcome. Similarly, like lymphoma also, it has a better thing than our typical adenocarcinoma. So depending on the stage, depending on the type of the tumors, we can say that there are some tumors which are curable, some maybe only palliative treatment can be offered.
So we discussed this to be like other cancers, more depending on the lifestyle of the person. So how much preventable is this cancer?
That's what I said in the beginning, that we can modify our diet. That is number one, that we start not having extra salt in our diet. We try to avoid preserved food, and we try to eat more of homemade, home prepared food. That is one important step. Second is we stop smoking, we stop alcohol intake. These, if we can do this, then it has a very this decreases the risk of stomach cancer. And also, if we increase the portion of fruits, so at least we keep fruits and vegetables in our diet, a good healthy portion, that will again have a protective effect on development of cancer stomach.
The next question that comes to mind is the risk factor. So who is more at risk to get this disease?
Apart from what we already discussed, some lifestyle things, we also know that if we have a family history, like our father, mother, or siblings, anyone developing gastric cancer, these people have a relatively a little higher risk of developing cancer, and they should be screened for gastric cancer at an early age. That is what we can say about at-risk population.
Okay. Now, if this is hereditary, if this can be hereditary, so are there any regular checkups that the relatives should do to, diagnose this?
Yeah, in normal population it is not required, but definitely in a family where there is a family history of stomach cancer in a person, that family member should undergo screening, especially if the person who developed the stomach cancer at an early age. Then you should at least start the screening 10 years earlier than that age of diagnosis. So yes, but that is, screening is only effective in a small population where there is a family history of stomach cancer.
So is this true for all cancers, or are we talking only of stomach cancer?
That will be very difficult to discuss in this short span. but yes, it is true for some other cancers as well.
Okay. So, what is the basic procedure of diagnosis?
Normally, whenever a patient is presenting with symptoms suggestive of stomach cancer or stomach tumors, the first test we do is upper GI, upper gastrointestinal endoscopy or gastroscopy. That is just putting a camera in your stomach through the oral cavity, and we see that lining of the stomach with a video camera. That is done in a very short time, like maybe 4 or 5 minutes it can be done, and if there is any suspicious lesion, then we biopsy that.
Right. What are some of the common myths that are currently available for stomach cancer? Like, people definitely have myths. They have various digital platforms to look for answers, which is not suggested. So, what are the myths that surround the stomach cancer?
Myths specific to stomach cancer, I'm not aware of, but what we find that many patients or family members, they are very apprehensive of undergoing surgery because they think that if we operate in a cancer patient, the disease will spread. This is a common myth for almost all cancers where surgery is required. I think the origin of this myth lies in the fact that previously, say 10 years back, the imaging facilities like CT scan and MRIs, these were not that developed, and at that time there were many missed cases where the CT scan or MRI said that the tumor is localized, but on opening the abdomen it was found that it has spread to other organs, and people thought that after opening the abdomen only they have spread to other organs. In reality, it was missed by those at that time. The imaging was not that great, but presently the imaging quality has improved so much. This type of situation occurs very, very rarely. Say maybe 4-5% of cases we encounter such things which we have not picked up on imaging like CT scan or MRI, and we are finding it on during laparoscopy or during opening the abdomen. So this is a myth, and I would like to say that we need to understand that whatever treatment is there in the modern science, it is available over the across the globe. It is not specific to Kolkata, not specific to West Bengal or India or anywhere. Everywhere the treatment is same in modern science, and if surgery is part of the treatment, we should undergo that, because that is the standard of care, and we have reached to that standard of care in present day science.
What might be the treatment options for a person who's suffered from gastric cancer?
Yes, again, whenever we find a gastric cancer, like after doing a gastroscopy or upper GI endoscopy and doing a biopsy of a suspicious lesion that the biopsy came out to be cancer, then the next thing is staging the disease, and for which we need an imaging like CT scan. Okay, so after CT scan has said that the tumor is located at one point only, it has not spread to much other areas, then we can think of doing a curative treatment. And for all cancers, the treatment consists of three things. One is radiotherapy, one is surgery, one is chemotherapy. This is true for all cancers. But again, as I said, cancer is not a one disease, it is a spectrum of diseases. So some cancers may require only chemotherapy, some cancers may require only radiotherapy, or some cancers may or surgery and radiotherapy, something like that. Permutation combination of these three treatment arms. In case of CA stomach, cancer stomach, the treatment consists of chemotherapy and surgery. Normally, if the tumor is not causing much problem like bleeding or perforation or any other emergency situations, there we can go ahead first giving chemotherapy and then controlling the disease. After controlling the disease with chemotherapy, we do the surgery. Now, surgery has few options, which we can say that depending on the location of the tumor, like in which part of the stomach the cancer is situated, depending on that we resect or excise part of the stomach. Sometimes the whole of the stomach can also be resected and reconstructed. And one important thing is nowadays we can do this surgery laparoscopically as well. That is minimal access technique. We use laparoscope, just use a camera inside the tummy with few keyholes. We go inside and do the surgery. And inside the tummy, the surgery is same what we used to do by open technique. So that is, there is another option nowadays in our hands for doing the surgery for cancer stomach.
Right. So currently we have a global situation which is COVID. So does a COVID infection predispose one to stomach cancer?
I think it will be premature to give this answer right now, because we, even if COVID predisposes to, it is not, we have not seen that thing to happen yet. So time can only tell that whether COVID predisposes to cancer stomach. But one thing I would like to say that although COVID is there and there is a risk of transmission in crowded places or in places like hospitals, but if there is someone having symptom for some disease, it is better to treat that disease in early phase rather than waiting for fearing of contracting COVID. If we don't go to a doctor and we don't take the medical consultation, the disease may progress and it may come to such a stage that where it may not be curable.
Right, so while we come to the end of the show, we have always maintained that we should leave on a positive note. So what would be your positive message on screening for stomach cancer for our viewers?
Screening, we discussed that it is effective for patients, effective for people where there is a family history. There is someone who is having a family history of stomach cancer. In that population, we do screening, and that is in the form of gastroscopy or upper GI endoscopy. I would rather say the positive note will be what is in your hand. In your hand is your will to stop smoking, your will to stop alcohol intake, and your will to stay in shape by doing exercises and having a healthy portion of fruits and vegetable in daily diet. These are the things, more important things, that can decrease the risk of not only cancer stomach but the risk of many other diseases like even sugar, blood pressure, all these things, the metabolic problems, as well as many cancers or tumors. The risk decreases as you maintain a healthy lifestyle.
Thank you, sir, and thank you so much for spending your time with our audience here. I'm sure we'll have more questions and we'll get them answered by you and your team. Till we meet the next time and discuss further, we would take leave.
Thank you.